pitchers and catchers' first workout was yesterday. We knew it was, inevitable at some point. Jordan Montgomery was going to address the media. I don't know if anybody thought he was going to still be here on the roster when pitchers and catchers had their first workout, yet there he was, looking noticeably slimmer and trimmer, and clearly has lost some weight and made getting back into better physical shape a priority.
Good.
Great. Absolutely what he needed
to. I want him to succeed. Want him to pitch well.
Yeah.
Hope he, can help the Diamondbacks if he ends up staying on the roster.
Yeah, he talked about losing weight this offseason.
Yeah. Dropped a dumbbell.
How much did you drop, you think?
Probably about 25 pounds.
25 pounds is what he dropped.
Wow.
Is his weight closer to where he normally is?
Probably early on. I was heavy with Texas, but I was doing well, so it was fine. But it's fine until it's not. And then it made a change.
It's fine until it's not. He said he wasn't moving very fast last season.
I wasn't really moving fast. I wasn't really moving clean or synced up or really doing anything right out there. I was just kind of willing it to get there instead of it feeling close. So I just want the mountain to feel close.
Your reaction, I think, speaks to where we all should be about this. No one's rooting against Jordan Montgomery. Nobody wants to see him fail.
No.
I mean, I know it was a controversial ending to the season, thanks to the comments that Ken Kendrick made on this radio program about Jordan Montgomery, but it doesn't do anybody any good. Him any good, the Arizona Diamondbacks any good, for him to not be a good member of the Diamondbacks, for him to pitch poorly or perform poorly or behave poorly, which he hasn't. It doesn't do anybody any good. He's either going to be a part of this rotation, a part of this bullpen, or the Diamondbacks are going to be able to flip him. Either way, him being well and doing a good job is essential to all three of those outcomes.
Listen, he's a decent pitcher. He's not Corbin Burns or Zach Allen. He's a good pitcher. He just turned 32 years old. Like, he could still pitch in the major leagues for a number of years. But you got to get your season, your career turned around. Last year was a disaster. To the point. Think about this. He's got a $25 million salary. Mm-hmm. We all know that they wanted to trade him if they could have. The fact that nobody traded for him, that's going to tell you everything you need to know.
Right.
You got to get in shape and pitch better, buddy.
Wasn't much of a market, yeah.
There was no market. Like, if they could have traded you, they would have. They don't want to carry your $25 million salary. After they added Corbin Burns, Brian Nelson, Brandon Pfaadt, Eduardo Rodriguez, Merrill Kelly, they got plenty of pitching. If they could have moved your salary, they would have moved your salary. They couldn't. So now, that should tell you that, hey, I need to reestablish some value here.
No doubt. And
I think he will. I think he will.
And I hope that, the first spring training start, usually you only throw an inning or two. So I'm not going to, I would hope best case scenario is that by his third spring training start, maybe his fourth, he's shown enough to somebody that they'll go, oh yeah, we'll take him. Well, I don't know what the Diamondbacks are going to get in return. I don't know how much salary the Diamondbacks are going to have to eat. I don't know if it'd be better off for the Diamondbacks to keep him. A lot of this depends, quite frankly, on their rotation and whether they get through the spring healthy. You heard what Mike Hazen said yesterday. He's like, I've been doing this for 25 years. Mm-hmm. I'm 0 for 25 when it comes to coming out of spring training with the rotation I thought I was going to have. Stuff happens. Guys get hurt. There are setbacks. It's a part of the deal. There might be a best case scenario where he's still on your roster to help you manage that if that happens during the spring. But ideally, he pitches well enough after 3 or 4 starts. Yeah. There is a market for his services, and now you can shed that salary off of your payroll and move on.
On this date, February 13th, there are no trades for starting pitchers on the horizon. There's none right now. Now, something could pop up but as of now, as of today, there are no trades in the works to move one of their starting pitchers. So, and I don't think they're worried about it. They're not so worried about it. This is their team. This is where their payroll is. Now they've got to go figure it out. And they've got to, it's up to Torey Lovello to put a 5-man rotation together and then figure out what you're going to do with the other 3 guys that are major league pitchers that are starters that you're going to have to figure out what to do with those
Torey
guys.
Lovello yesterday on Montgomery and his Headspace.
I've had a couple conversations with him this offseason, and I've exchanged some texts with him, and he talked to me about his commitment to being as ready as possible. When he walked in the doors yesterday, the day before yesterday, I saw that he looked great. And I know that we try to stay as connected as possible to all of our athletes. And in this case, Jordan was one of them that I feel like is in a pretty good headspace and ready to go out and show us what he's capable of doing. Last year was a very difficult year for him. I know it's all well documented. We don't need to talk about any of it. Other than this is a fresh start. He's walking into spring training, getting to know his teammates, getting grounded. feeling at home. And I know that's very important for athletes.
He spoke about how difficult last season was.
Yeah, I mean, last year was really kind of the first time I've struggled in a long time. So baseball's a hard game, and it's bound to get you, and just kind of had to deal with it and battle. But I'm a competitor, I'm a battler, so got home, and I'm ready.
I mean, I'm going to root for him. I'm going to root for him to get this thing turned around. Last year's over. It is what it is. It happened. Absolute freaking disaster. An absolute disaster. But let's go. Like, you lost 25 pounds. Yeah, that shows commitment to me. You know, it's what we could ask for. You know, I'm committed to being better than I was last year. I just dropped 25 pounds. That's not an easy thing to do, dropping 25 pounds.
And as far as the awkwardness of Ken Kendrick's comments, again, made on our show towards the end of last season, in which, in fact, at the end of last season, in which he said it was a mistake bringing Jordan Montgomery on the team and that it was Ken Kendrick's mistake. It was he the one who made it. Montgomery brushed that off as best he could.
It's whatever. I told them I've got 2 older brothers, so it's not going to hurt my feelings. I know my season wasn't great, and I expect a lot of myself also.
But then interestingly, and this is only a 3-second bite, he feels like his spot in the rotation is secure.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm here for. They're paying me a lot of money.
Now, you visibly reacted to that when I set it up. You kind of, your head did a, whoa. Feels like his rotation spot is secure?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm here for. They're paying me a lot of money.
If I said to you right now, today, all of us, 1, 2, and 3 are set. Zach Allen, Corbin Burns, Merrill Kelly. Who's your 4th and 5th starter right now?
Oh, I'll play the odds and say your 4th is Eduardo Rodriguez and your 5th is Brandon Pfaadt.
Okay.
I'll play the odds and say
You guys going the same way?
I don't feel like taking any chances on this one.
No Ryan Nelson, no Jordan Montgomery.
Would you say the same? Mitch, would you say that?
I would say the same thing. I would say Pfaadt and Rodriguez.
The only caveat I would give is I don't know that Eduardo Rodriguez is fully guaranteed either.
Okay.
So that would be
fully guaranteed with what?
Like a spot in the rotation. He's obviously fully guaranteed contract-wise, but I mean,
he's not.
That's what I mean.
But
so that would be the in for Jordan.
Is there more incentive for Rodriguez to get the spot than Montgomery if it's close?
Yeah.
Yeah, Montgomery's gone after this year, and Rodriguez is under contract.
But if you're trying to trade him, you need him to pitch in some way, shape, or form.
Sure, of course. Yeah, and you want him to pitch well in some way, shape, or form. But I think we're all agreed, you know, like, is there a world I could see where Ryan Nelson just carries over what he did in the second half of last season and just basically demands that he has a spot in the rotation? Yeah, I could see that. Of course I could see that. But I'll play the odds and say I think it's going to be Eduardo Rodriguez 4 and Brandon Pfaadt 5. But I have no idea what's going on.
I'm going to keep my eye on one thing. Every time a starting pitcher goes down in spring training, I'm going to look at that team's roster and say, can Jordan Montgomery fit there? Because that team, especially competitive teams they feel like they're in contention, which a lot do in the beginning of the season.
Sure.
If those teams have a starter go down, is Jordan Montgomery the first phone call? I don't know who else you would call, but the Diamondbacks have a lot of pitching. You'd call Mike Hazen.
I would think. When you have 7 of them, that's usually how it works.
Thanks for watching Burns Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.